Everyone. I hope you guys are all doing well and that you're settling into your second week of classes. So congratulations on making it this far, and I hope you guys are all doing great. So I wanted to jump on here, if I could, just really quickly to give you some feedback about Tuesday's discussion. So for Tuesday's discussion, we were basically doing just an introduction to generally to disability studies, right? So just talking about in general what disability studies is, how we define disability, things like that. And in general, you guys did a great job. So I was really impressed with a lot of you were able to make meaningful connections between historical events, like, for example, eugenics and the passing of the ADA, and relate that to the terms that we use for disability, and also nurturing disability pride. So you were able to bring kind of both readings together full circle and create really interesting ideas and discussion, and it was fabulous. So the only feedback that I have for potential ways to improve would be to always remember to clearly reference the text, whether you are answering the discussion prompt or whether you are talking about your own, or whether you're writing your own question or talking point, right? So always have either a myriad of examples from both readings, or another great thing to do is to include a quote to support your question or talking point. As many textual references as you can, right? Because really what I'm trying to evaluate again is, have you read the readings, number one? And number two, have you thought about them while you were attempting to answer the prompt or raise your own questions or talking points? Okay, so that's in general my feedback. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen really quickly. And just go ahead and show you that just like I did prior to Tuesday's discussion, I gave you guys some general examples of good QTPs from other classes. This morning I have also uploaded specific examples of QTPs or discussion posts that got 10 out of 10 for today's discussion, right? So I've taken examples from our discussion boards, and I've given you examples of students that have earned 100% or who have gotten 10 out of 10. So I have about 4 examples for you to examine, which will hopefully give you kind of a clearer sense of what I'm looking for when I say, you know, textual references, support, things of that nature. Okay, so it doesn't really want to show, so I will just download and open. But here what I've included for you is just several examples of both QTPs and discussion prompts that have earned full credit. Okay. And I should add that I have also included individual feedback for each one of you. So I have, whenever I enter a grade into Canvas for your discussion post, I also write up a nice little comment for you that either says, great job, you had everything I was looking for, or it says, great job, but here are some things you can do to improve. Okay, so if you don't see those comments, please let me know, and I can do a number of things. I can repost it, or I can simply copy and paste it and email it to you, but I want everybody to have access to that feedback. So please let me know if you cannot see my comments in Canvas. Okay, so next I'm going to transition into Thursday's discussion. So I will share my screen again and take you guys to back to my Canvas page here. And again, you'll see under Module 1, I've got examples for Tuesday's readings, QTPs. And then down here, I've got your two readings for Thursday, as well as your response paper prompts and your discussion for Tuesday. So Tuesday's readings, we are going to focus on what are called models of disability, right? So models of disability are simply intellectual frameworks that attempt to kind of define disability and also explore how we might resolve any of the problems associated with disability. Right? So the charity model attempts to solve the problem of disability by invoking, for example, pity and sympathy so that people in society, particularly rich people in society, to donate their funds or donate their time for disabled people, similar to how they might donate to the poor, for example, and destitute. So we're going to talk about not just the charity model, but other key models as well, like the social model and the medical model. So in addition to your QTP that you prepare yourself, my discussion prompt for this week is going to ask you about the medical model and the social model, but instead of thinking about those models with respect to disability, I want you to think about those models with respect to other marginalized groups. So for example, people who are incarcerated and people who are living in poverty. Right? Now you might say there are a lot of there are a lot of disabled people who are incarcerated and living below the poverty line, and you're absolutely correct. But I want you to think about what are the essence of those models, the essence of the medical model and the essence of the social model, and how might those models explain why someone was incarcerated or why they're living in poverty. Right? So the prompt just says, many have sought to apply conceptual frameworks similar to the social model to explain issues like poverty and incarceration. How historically have these issues been explained using something akin to the medical model, and how might adopting something similar to the social model inform public policy with respect to these issues? So just like we talked about how the medical model can sometimes be problematic when talking about disability, right? We can also talk about how the same principles of the medical model might be problematic when talking about other social issues like incarceration and poverty. Okay? So just give me your best guess as to what the answer to this is. It's a kind of a higher level abstract question. Just make sure that again in your discussion prompt you're giving me excerpts from the texts from both articles, and that you're attempting to relate the question as much to the readings as you can. Okay? So I think that was all I wanted to show you in this video. And certainly if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I look forward to reading your discussion posts on Thursday. All right, bye guys.